over, Ice Age. Now there are 2 prehistoric CGI comedies in Tinseltown. You're watching Beyond the Trailers review of The Croods.
My family has always survived by living by my dad's one rule. Never leave the cave.
Eve, come down!
You really need to see this.
Impressively, the Ice Age franchise has brought in almost $3 billion worldwide, so little wonder that Dreamworks Animation is eager to move in on Blue Sky's territory. And Ice Age distributor 20th Century Fox certainly doesn't mind, as The Croods is the very first movie they're releasing as part of their new deal with Dreamworks Animation, meaning they've got the prehistoric era cornered. And what a deal, as Dreamworks Animation has 10 movies lined up over the next 3 years. But while the animation studio is certainly burning up the track production-wise, box office-wise, they've hit a speed bump. Rise of the Guardians, their 2012 big holiday flick, was their biggest box office flop in over a decade, recalling the halls of Prince of Egypt and Ants, back when Dreamworks was dismissed as merely an ego trip by Jeffrey Katzenberg, seeking to prove himself and have his revenge after being pushed out of the Mouse House. Although Katzenberg isn't the only one at Dreamworks Animation to have been kicked to the curb by Mickey. Lilo and Stitch creator Chris Sanders didn't see eye to eye with Disney execs on his follow-up project American Dog, but instead of reaching a compromise, they forced Sanders to reach for the door. Disney turned American Dog into the run-of-the-mill Bolt, while Sanders defected to DreamWorks Animation to deliver the sleeper hit How to Train Your Dragon. And while he's currently working on the sequel, first Katzenberg needed him to dust off The Croods, a film originally set up under their Aardman deal. Yeah, there was a lot of dust on it. But John Cleese had been involved, and you don't throw out ideas from John Cleese. However, for some reason, Cleese eventually left the project, while Space Chimps writer-director Kirk D'Amico stayed on. Really? Really? And while Sanders might have been given plenty of stars to play with in the recording booth, one has to wonder how much this favor for Katzenberg might cost him. It does show real growth, though, that he's learning to work with the suits rather than against them. And hey, even if The Croods does fail, there ain't nothing derailing How to Train Your Dragon 2.
So yeah, The Croods is a tough sell, and even when I was watching the movie, I had to think to myself, I can't believe I'm actually enjoying this, but I did. I just think this movie is a testament to what a talented filmmaker Chris Sanders is. He's a great director. And with Lilo and Stitch, How to Train Your Dragon, and now this movie, I think he really shows a knack for family dynamics, which is interesting because I recently interviewed Derek C. in France, who has his own family trilogy with Brother Tide, Blue Valentine, and The Place Beyond the Pines, and he talked about really wanting to explore family, not like in a Hollywood way, but in a realistic way, the way family actually interacts. And I think that Chris Sanders does that too. So it's just... I think it's very well-rounded to see that being depicted not only in indie films, but also being brought into mainstream animation over at DreamWorks, courtesy of Chris Sanders. Also, Chris Sanders really knows how to create animals. Stitch is adorable, Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon is so cute, and here he just goes into overdrive. So many cute and adorable, yet also sometimes very scary animals. I was really impressed. I think the DreamWorks merchandising team is really going to have a field day with this movie if it does well. But it really added to the movie-going experience as well. I mean, I've been lucky enough to interview Chris Sanders as well, and I asked why he created this world that was not like realistic to what the prehistoric era was like, and he said he wanted the audience to experience the wonder that the Croods were experiencing when they went out and saw this new world, and that works. I mean, it really is like a marvel to see what Chris Sanders and his team come up with. All that said, though, as I said, some of the animals are scary. This movie doesn't pull its punches. It really does put this family, the Croods, in danger. When Nicolas Cage's character is telling them they need to be afraid, it's not ridiculous. And I liked that. I think any animation fan knows that the scariest kids movies are the ones that kind of like really stick with you as a kid and even as an adult, but you know, that's the darker ones that I think are really make an impression, and this has some really dark moments which I think worked and didn't go over the top. I know you might remember that recently I complained a little bit about Pixar doing that, but I don't think that DreamWorks does that here. I think it's organic, it works with the message they're trying to tell, and it's scary, but it never goes too far. Also, the voice work on the film is fantastic. The standouts were really Nicolas Cage, who I think really took this seriously. He wasn't just phoning it in. And also Ryan Reynolds. And I know that I give Ryan Reynolds a hard time. I can't help it. I can't help that he ruined Green Lantern. He was miscast. But I haven't really liked the way he's tried to develop himself as a movie star. I think he's focused way too much on his appearance and his looks rather than his comedic ability, which is his real strong suit. And here, because it's just voice acting, he really focuses on his comedic prowess, and he does a fantastic job. His character was really great. The whole movie was great, though. That's one of the things I liked about it, is that the voice cast didn't like stick out and you didn't distract you. They became their characters. You really felt for each character, and it was just, I had a really good time. As for 3D, I like 3D in movies, particularly animated movies, because I think that it really creates an immersive experience. It really puts you in that world. It has great, tremendous depth. But in the Croods, I don't think it's imperative that you see it in 3D. It's not like Oz, which really should be seen in 3D. I think you could go either way on this one. I think you could go either way on seeing the movie. I really enjoyed it, but it's not a must-see. It's not like one of the best animated movies or films I've ever seen ever or this year. But I really did like it, and if you like animated movies, and if you just feel like going to the theater, I think that you're going to have a really nice time. So I hope you enjoyed this review. As you know, I've been going to a lot of junkets and red carpets, so I've been able to see these movies in advance, which is why I've been doing my reviews. Yeah, you're going to get a BTT Crew review later today, and next week will be all audience reviews. So I hope you like this mix of my opinion, audience opinion, and BTT Crew's reviews when we can do it. So I'm trying to give everybody what they want, and also what works best for the channel. So tell me what you think of the Croods if you've seen it, and thank you for coming to be on the trailer, and I hope you'll subscribe and check out the other videos. See you around.